Hey guys, it's Sara Evans. Welcome to another episode of Diving In Deep, the podcast. Today, I had Maddie and Tae on the show, and we had such an amazing conversation. We talked about everything: motherhood, being a woman in country music, writing songs, just everything. We had the best conversation, and it's a great episode. You're not going to want to miss it. So be sure and tune in, and also subscribe to my channel and share the episode, like it, do all those things. I love you. Here's Maddie and Tae. Maddie and Tae, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We've already been talking, and we've already said so many things that we need to repeat.
We will.
Because
we will.
Okay.
We're just, it's so.
We're just getting started.
I know. Yeah. And I don't really know y'all. Like we haven't had the opportunity to be around each other that much. Maybe like a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about you. Where are you from? Who's older? Who's the more dominant one? Who sings lead? Who sings harmony? And you both have kids.
We do. We'll give you all the tea.
Okay.
All those questions in the order.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Texas and Oklahoma.
Okay.
Who's older? Maddie's 3 months older.
3 months older.
She sings lead, and she is the dominant type A personality. And
Okay.
I'm type B.
What does that mean?
Let me hide in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, but we finally got her to sing lead on this new album twice.
Great.
And our fans, they were like, when is she going to sing lead? I was like, I'm working on it. She's just,
I'm working on
it. She's such a great harmony singer. And
It's genuinely what I hear first. I think just because I've been singing harmonies for so long, and I know Maddie's voice so well. Like, I know what runs she's going to do before she even does it, or how long she's going to hold out a note. So it's just, that is my lead, is harmony.
Now,
I hear it as a lead.
Are you can brag. Are you a perfect harmony singer? Like, do you hear it because I hear every single thing and I don't it up.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Are you that way?
I'm obsessed with harmonies.
Yeah.
Like, literally obsessed.
I like to do my own harmonies on the records.
Oh, yeah. I remember when Maddie and I first started making music together, I was around 14, and my dad was actually the one that said, harmonies are really fun. Like, you should go sit in your car and like turn on a song and see if you can spot a harmony and sing along. Like, I think you'd enjoy it. And then when I met Maddie and I actually had the opportunity to explore harmonies, I remember thinking, I know the Dixie Chicks go in there and they make up their harmonies on the spot. There's no way I could do that.
Right.
And then now
that's
I do
what she does.
Yeah.
It's so
You mean like oohs and ahs, like that kind of stuff? That's what they make up on the spot? Or you're talking about
the note,
like just the chord, making the chord.
Making the chord and like following and finding the right chord with the guitar and all of it. Yeah.
Right.
But she also does this thing we call the Tae flip, where it's like, for example, on Die From a Broken Heart, she does the low harmony throughout most of the chorus. And then on the very end, the last sentence of the chorus, she flips to the high harmony.
I love that.
And so
I will be like, whoa, oh.
I love that.
But your music has always been that. Yeah. Like, literally, Sarah, if I would have told my 10-year-old self, I remember the song Perfect. That song. But Perfect, I don't remember what year that came out, but when that song came out, I wore that song out on my karaoke machine.
That's awesome.
And I know it's probably like, oh my gosh, like when people are like,
no, I love hearing it.
But
you
really influenced me so much, especially just with country music and like the storytelling and the harmonies in your music too. Like that, even before we met, like I didn't know what a harmony was, but I knew I liked it. And so it was kind of just like these little, like there was so many moments in music that you released and albums that you put out that like really impacted me as like a writer, singer, harmony.
Well, thank you.
Singer.
Thank you. I grew up in a huge family, 2 older brothers and 4 younger sisters.
Whoa.
So that harmony, and my brothers started taking guitar lessons when I was 4. And that's how the whole thing started, because they would come home and then I would just start learning their songs and sing along. And our parents were like, our kids have music talent. Both my parents loved music and can sing, but we were farmers in Missouri.
Wow, that's so cool.
I'm so grateful to my mom for actually pursuing it, because a lot of moms would just be like, yeah, my kids like music and they like to sing, but my mother is an entrepreneur. And so we were the Evans family band my whole life growing up.
Wow.
So I think that sibling harmony, just really teaches you a lot.
I know. And a lot of people think that we're sisters, which is
because
like,
of the harmonies.
Because of the harmonies.
Yeah.
And but we operate like blood. Like we, like the way we run our business, the way we we put our relationship way before the business. Like those conversations happen after, like, how's your soul? Does your spirit feel at peace with this decision?
Great. How'd you feel about that meeting? Did you feel heard?
Oh yeah. And one of us, if one of us is bawling, the other one's in the car talking the other one off the ledge. That happens all the time.
So you are
mostly
best
it's me.
friends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Maddie's-
absolutely.
Yeah. Wait, so I heard that you met through a vocal coach. Is that true?
We
Yes.
did.
Okay, tell me that story.
Girl, Lord.
Can we spill like the
Why
TT?
did you start taking
The
vocal
TT.
lessons? Like what happened when you were little?
Both of our stories are different. I
Yeah.
can say how I started, and then I want you to say yours. But I knew that I wanted to move to Nashville from a very, very early age. I think when I was around like 3rd grade, I had very specific visions of playing the Grand Ole Opry and moving to Nashville, and like I knew that this is where I was going to end up.
Right.
And
who did you look up to? Like who were you saying like, I want to be her, I want to be him?
Martina McBride, Christina Aguilera. Actually, I really loved like
I freaking
the
love
sex
her.
appeal. To be honest, like, I was like, that is so cool.
Yes.
Obviously not when I was in 3rd grade, but as I got older, I just thought it was so cool and edgy. And
What's the song? And I'll be giving it up.
Oh yeah, yes. And
You're my mother,
your
Yes.
sister and your friend.
My mom said I used to go around singing Genie in a Bottle, and I was like, heck yeah. But
Yeah, she's amazing.
I wanted to start going to a vocal coach for the connection because I knew that he knew like managers and people in Texas hopefully had some connections and just wanted to grow my voice and like
Right.
take this seriously. At that point, I was considering dropping out of high school, which I eventually did. And so I was like, I need to show that I'm dedicated. Like, this is my career, and I'm starting it at 15. And so that's kind of why I started taking lessons.
Yeah. I had a similar-ish story, but it was just me and my little sister. And so I was like mini mom. We were 5 years apart. And so I was like, that was my, job, was like taking care of my sister.
Right.
And so I always loved music. My grandpa played guitar a lot. He played a lot of blues music, was like in jazz bands and stuff like that.
So you got it in your family.
Yes, had it in the, but not like my mom and dad. My mom could sing, but like didn't, like pursue it or anything.
Yeah.
But my dad, not very musical, but had good taste in music. So that was like, that's all we needed.
Right. Yeah.
But, and then like I started doing talent shows when I was in about 3rd grade, and it was just like a whole other side that like my parents and friends hadn't seen of me, where I was like, I wasn't like a shy kid, but I wasn't gonna like demand attention from anybody.
Right.
But
Until you walked on stage.
When I walked on stage, I mean, I was just, they were like, who is this?
So would you go out and have like a track behind you, or did you have a guitar player? Like,
oh, I had no idea what I was doing. It was the track with the other vocal on it, because I didn't know.
Exactly what you're talking about.
And I didn't want to go buy the CD, like it was just, we were pinching pennies and just trying to, keep it easy. So, but so I started doing talent shows, and then I think it was like maybe 7th or 8th grade, I started, one of my friends got a guitar, and I like she was like not that excited about it, and I was like so stoked about it, but she didn't really like take to it, and I loved it. And so around then I started like kind of writing songs, didn't realize it was songwriting. And then I think it was my sophomore year of high school, was when there was another girl that my dad knew that was pursuing music. And so I kind of asked her name was Breland. She doesn't do it anymore, but she was a great songwriter when she was here. And she like had so much advice to give me, and like told me which vocal coach to go to, which ended up being our vocal coach. He was a total slime ball, like horrible guy. Yeah, I don't even know.
I can't wait to hear about that.
I don't know like what his status is now, but like God love him, but just not a good egg. Which is great. It's like get
Like a
burned the first
pervert?
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
like wanted your money. Like the vocal lessons were like 60, 50 minutes, and he would spend the entire time talking. These promises. I'm gonna get you on Six Flags stage. That's what he would say. I'm gonna get you at Six Flags, and we're like, okay, Tom.
I can get myself on stage.
But yeah, so I started writing songs, and I think the songwriting was what really made me want to do it. And then he ended up introducing us because we were the same age and had the same kind of vision, and it kind of just like went from there. We started just like one door started opening. We met someone in Houston that knew someone in Nashville, and then the person in Nashville was Mike Molinar, who is still to this day our publisher.
The stars truly aligned.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
A lot of God. Like God just like
But what's wild is like when it aligned ever since then, they've unaligned and they you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's also God.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Because God's always protecting and providing. So when it doesn't,
and you've got to have the contrast to know.
You do.
know.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm like, I know you are good, but this is weird.
This is too hard.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then like years go by and I'm like, I see. And I'm sure God's just like, shit, you goofy little gal. Like, just hang on a dang minute. I'm doing my thing.
Yes.
God doesn't talk like that.
Well,
but in my
remind
head.
me too to mention motherhood.
Yes.
Because I think it changes your
It
views
does.
about God.
Changes everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
I literally got chills. Like saying
Everything.
that. Motherhood changes
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
In the best
It's the best.
way.
It's the best. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
So started writing songs, and then I actually went to Nashville a couple times by myself from my friend Breland, who kind of was like, hey, this is kind of like what you do. You come and you write songs. But when I first came by myself, I didn't know. There was a couple like big writers. I won't ever like name them because I don't want to embarrass them, but they made me pay to write a song with them. And mind you, I had written the whole song. I just I thought you're supposed to write the song, bring it to the big fancy songwriter, and then they like maybe help you make it better. And
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, it was like so icky. Now
I'm going to start doing that.
Pay up. We got come on, newbies. You pay your dues,
And
baby.
the bridge is an extra fee.
Yeah, the bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
And if I
wild.
wear this strapless dress, extra fee.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
for
If I
sure.
show this beautiful body.
Harmonies? Are you kidding me?
Oh my
Harmonies
gosh.
extra.
You want ankles? $50. I'm just kidding.
Amazing.
Yeah. So then
Did you have the money?
I mean, my dad, like,
Made it work.
God bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, anything crazy, but he found a way to pay these. I mean, it only happened twice before someone finally told us, hey, you don't
wrong.
pay a
It was
writer.
almost like our parents paid our college tuition in their investment.
In that way.
Yes.
In that way, because we didn't go to college. I mean,
Right.
I didn't go to high school either. So
I'm
it was-
against college, so yeah.
It's
I
like
know.
when my son grows up, me and my husband both are like, and my husband, he is a food science major. And so like he did and he was like, I loved it because that's actually like what I'm interested in.
Right.
And there was a specific thing that, but he was like, if there's not
If
life
there's
is
something
how.
specific,
Sure.
like a doctor, a
Yeah.
lawyer,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm all about like trade school.
Oh
or
my
learning how to do
gosh.
something.
Learning how to
or-
do things like
Yes.
on your own, building,
Yeah.
like being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. Like
Yes.
I am all
I
about
totally
that.
agree. I also
Yeah.
think there should be a degree in motherhood because it's like
Yes.
that is a job.
Do you know how much trauma therapy we'd all probably save?
Yeah, that is a
You know,
job.
oh my
And
gosh,
so
yeah.
it's like, what did you get your degree in? Motherhood.
How are we not
Yes.
learning about like the hormones and like the hormone drop? And then the
Exactly.
postpartum?
Yeah.
How are we
And
not learning
also-
about that?
How to cook, how to
How to make a home.
make
Like
a home.
yeah.
Like, we used to do that in home ec, or how do you write
Psychology.
Do they even have home ec anymore? They don't.
No.
They don't.
That's why
And
these
it's crazy
kids-
because like if you can choose to be a career woman. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
No judgment. But why is there no degree in motherhood?
Yeah.
Because you could also apply for a nanny.
Yeah.
You could
You are making
apply
very
for a
valid
lot of different
Yeah.
positions where you say, I know about children because I got a degree in motherhood. And
Absolutely.
it's not psychology, but it's just like how to take care of children.
Yeah, and how to like be a homemaker
Right.
and like those types of things.
leadership.
Yes,
and,
totally.
yeah, all of that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
So 15.
Yes.
You-
So we ended up meeting Mike Molinar, who we are still like.
He's our publisher.
He's
Okay.
like he is a pillar of like our career and has been one of the only constants and like keeps it very real. He will
And
let
what
us.
publishing company are you with?
Big Machine Music.
Okay.
Yeah. But so after we were coming back and forth to town, like for a couple years, I was graduating high school and he was like, look, if y'all are really serious about this, like, I really think there's a lot of talent, but like what y'all are working on is really good. And I think there's potential.
Something here.
There's
Yes.
something
Yeah.
here.
This is back when they did developmental deals. You know, they
Yes.
took an artist and they helped them blossom.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right,
he
right.
was a,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was
Yes.
a publisher. He wasn't, a
No.
record
Right.
guy.
And he told us, he was like, listen, I see the potential. I see I see this could be a thing. You know, you're dedicated. You're writing really cool songs. I want Scott Borchetta to notice you because he really wanted to get assigned to
Big Machine.
Right.
And he said, so I want you to come live here for the next 3 months. We'll pay you $1,000
a month, which we were like,
pay your bills.
We're
Yes.
rich. We're rich.
Yeah.
Living the life. And we
Yeah.
would write from 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. every single day,
Every
2-3
single day.
songs a day. We would do demos. We would record YouTube videos. Like we were hustling.
And that is your college.
And, yes.
And it's so true because like a label used to take an artist, and I say this probably every podcast, people are probably so sick of it, like here she goes again, and make you famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you have to be famous before.
Yes.
Like when I signed with RCA, I grew up singing. I've been on stage since I was 4 singing in bars.
Yeah.
Like I'd done the whole thing. But when I got my record deal, they made me famous.
Yeah.
There was a whole company.
Yeah.
Now you have to make yourself famous,
Which is super annoying.
which is super annoying and
Yeah.
unfair.
I
And
think so, yeah. And, you know, I think it's just less of like a partnership, you know?
Right.
And so I think that's what gets like tricky because like the
it's kind of like pay me to write with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, we've been blessed like with we have had different experiences at labels, but like we got signed to Big Machine label group when we literally wrote Girl in a Country Song, and they heard that song at like a Tin Pan South round, like the Songwriters Festival.
Right.
Scott Borchetta heard that song when we played it. Literally had a record deal.
Amazing.
Like 2 weeks later. We're on radio tour like 2 months later. Like it was a rocket.
Yes.
But, you know, it was a different time back
Right.
then. There wasn't Instagram and TikTok. And now these labels, like even our label, like we have some freaking champions in that building that like fight so hard for our music. But it's like they can only do so much
can only do so much.
because it's like TikTok and Instagram, the content, they just want us.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yes.
you
You
know,
didn't come into the business to be famous or personality. You come into to make music, but
make
you realize
music.
that's like 1% of
Right.
the job.
yeah.
You're hoping
It's literally
the
1%.
fame comes
Yes.
so that people can hear your music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can make a living
Right.
singing.
Yes.
Right.
That's the dream.
Because if you go into it thinking, I just want to be famous, then I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just,
It's just
it's kind of gross. But
Yeah.
now I do think that's the attitude.
You have to.
Yeah.
You know,
you have to like
have
sell
to.
yourself almost. And
Yeah.
I think like there's definitely been times in our career where like we probably could have sold ourselves better, but like if there's like things that don't align with our spirit or moral, like
has to feel
there's not
authentic,
enough money in the world to make us like
agree.
bend a certain way.
And we've
because-
bent before. I mean, there are definitely decisions that I look back on and I'm like,
Why
that
did we
wasn't
agree?
authentic to us.
Yeah.
Why
Right.
did we do that? But
I love that you want to be authentic.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it helps me sleep at night.
That's right.
It literally makes me excited to wake up in the morning when I know that like I'm getting to go to work and just be me. you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. I never chased a trend.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's
like-
why you have had the career that you have, and you have navigated this career like how I want to navigate our career, where it's like you never are getting complacent. Like the record that you put out last year, I'm like, there's some sick ass
Thank
drum
you.
tones and bass stuff on there that I'm like, there's nods to that, like the music you put out in the 90s, but it's like you're keeping up with like
Yeah.
the trends and the tones and everything that are like relevant,
Thank
for
you.
this
Yeah.
era. But the way that you blend it all is like, that's what I want to have a freaking 20-30 year long career.
Totally.
And I think that's part of mainly the connection that you have with your fans, is
Right,
like
yes.
authentic, and
Yes.
you feed that
They're
relationship.
so sweet.
They are.
Yeah.
I think like Reba has, been very successful at
Yes.
doing that. Dolly.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is always, I want to get better. Like I just want to get better and better and better. And like, I'm a better singer now than I was 20 years ago, just from doing it.
Yeah.
And so, but to do that, you have to stay authentic. And
Yes.
it can be, I think, annoying sometimes to people you work with, because you're like, I'm not going to do that, even if it's Well, I might do something for $5 million.
I can be bought on some things.
Yeah, I can be bought a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's like morals or like you want me to like,
Yes.
you know, be all...
Do another Suds in the Bucket. Like,
Yeah.
there was only one Suds in the Bucket. And then after
it'll
that...
never happen again because it was
it'll never
the
happen
magic.
again.
Yes.
And the magic will live on.
Yes.
Right.
We don't need to copy the magic.
Some movies don't
right.
need sequels.
Yeah.
Right.
Even like I
So
remember
right.
there was like a couple like people a couple years ago that were like, y'all just need to write another Die from a Broken Heart. And I'm like, no, we don't. We
Right.
already did. Like
already did.
And we didn't even mean to write it. That's
Right.
not how it
Yeah.
happens. You write what you're feeling, and then it becomes
Right.
there or it doesn't. You know?
Yeah.
And you're naturally gonna have a sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're like
a-
Morgan
yeah.
Wallen.
Yes.
He has a
Undeniable.
sound. But he doesn't repeat himself.
Yeah.
He just has a sound.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to try to, like, okay, she thinks my tractor's sexy, or, Country Girl Shake It For Me was
Yeah.
a success, so I'm going to try to do that again.
Oh, yeah.
I think people see through that.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Not that Kenny or Luke did that. I'm
But
just
I mean,
saying.
they owned that
Yes.
song in that space, and
Right.
no one's gonna do it better
Yeah.
than they did.
What does Josh say? My hubby has a saying, and he's like, because Matt, when we talk
Everyone
about this
likes
all
the same
time.
cheeseburger?
Yes, everyone
Yeah.
likes the same cheeseburger. He's like, why would you
Right.
switch
Yeah,
up the
it's
cheeseburger?
like-
I'm like, yeah, but it's boring. He's like, yeah, but the fans don't care. I mean,
I know.
they like good music.
That's right.
And at the
So,
end of the day,
yeah.
whatever they like. But as creatives, we
Yeah.
like to just
And you can't
dig a little
compromise on
deeper.
lyrics.
No.
You can't compromise on
Girl,
lyrics.
the times that we have been in a writing room the last 15 years where it's like we did one trip to LA to write, and no hate on LA writers because I think it's different now, and it was one session and then we were like never again, but it was like, oh my gosh, just the lyrics that were like, yeah, that's good. I was like, I think maybe we have different definitions here. And
good.
yeah. And I mean, I'm like from Houston. And so like there's like a little bit of that, like just sass. And I don't know if it's like the Southern in me, but like my face will say it all. Like if I think something's terrible, I'm just like trying, but my
Right.
face will like, even because we produced this record with her husband Josh, and
That's so
he'll be
cool.
like,
So cool.
it was so magical, but he'll turn around and be like, what'd you think of that solo? And I was like, and he's like,
You
you didn't like it. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man, he
it can be
knows
better.
me. Yeah, I mean, we are family, so
Yes.
it's like he know, and it's so nice producing with someone that knows us like that, because it just takes so much work off of not only his plate but ours too, because I'm not having to describe like, this acoustic sound is too bright, like I need something a little grittier, like he just knows what we want, which is so nice.
I love that. So it's what it sounds like to me is that you're musicians also, instead of just singers. And I like to think of myself as that too.
Oh, absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
just because, well, I do play drums and guitar a little
girl.
bit, but
Heck
I'm
yeah.
not good. But singers are musicians, especially when you can hear that stuff.
Absolutely. yeah.
And you don't just turn it over to somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no.
I'm going to go home and you guys do the guitar solo. No.
I have heard that
Weird.
artists do that sometimes.
Someone told us that at the last session. They're like, yeah, the artist wasn't even here. I was like, wait, what? Were they
What?
busy? And they're like, no, they just didn't want to come.
I'm like, why?
No, because
You
they
are
don't know.
missing-
They don't know
They
what's
just
good or
don't know.
bad.
Yeah.
There's something that I do almost every single song, and I feel like you probably do this too or have. But if I hear a specific like sig lick or like a solo, I sing it.
Yes.
To the electric player, and I'm like, hey, I need you to sing this.
What song did you
Right.
do that on this record?
Girl in Alabama.
Alabama, yes.
Yeah, there's a song on the new record called Girl in Alabama, and I sang the down, 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 down. I was like,
Yes.
should be the sig lick, and it was all,
So
I love
fun.
it. I did the same thing with Tom Bukovac on his slide solo on Real Fine Place to Start.
oh my gosh, and that solo
So amazing. And like, he's amazing. So, I'm
it was a
never ever
collaborative
going to
thing.
say like, oh,
Yeah.
that solo was me and not Tom. But
You sang it. He played it. It's a
yeah,
team.
it was a joint effort, because I was
yeah.
like, what if we just keep going up? Do-do-do-do,
that's
so cool.
And
it just lifts the whole song.
Yes,
I love that. Yeah.
So I just can't imagine like not being there. So
keeps it fun for me. I mean,
like,
I'm obsessed. I'm one of those weirdos that loves change. I mean, Maddie knows this. Like, when I was little, I would repaint my bedroom like every 2 months. Like, I need change to grow, and I would change my pillows out like every season.
Yeah.
I've lived in like every city in Nashville, every suburb you can imagine. I love.
She's about to move again, probably.
I just am.
You're a gypsy at heart.
I am a gypsy, for sure. And that's what I love about this career is that there's so many different hats, and I'm constantly getting to like switch modes. It's so fun. Because if I was just showing up every day, like, I just want to sit here and be pretty and sing.
Right. What do you think makes you do that? What do you think makes you want change all the time?
ADHD.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. Trauma.
I'm a little addicted to chaos for sure. Because I am so boring.
Okay.
Like genuinely, I'm a pretty boring person.
You need that to make you feel alive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got out of the chaos. I don't want. Like I am. It is so. We are so opposite. So similar. Like in our soul and our heart. Like just what fills our cups. But I'm like gonna live in this house probably for the next, like, maybe till I die. Like me and my husband are like, we've got 5 acres and like bought at the perfect time. We're like, we'll never get a house like this or be able to afford something like this at the rate we got. And
that is true.
And you like to feel settled. Y'all kind of remind me of that show Firefly Lane.
Oh my gosh,
because they're different.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
So true. I mean, they're very different people.
Yeah.
But they're besties.
Oh,
I mean, they're
like,
just soulmates.
I would be
soulmates.
Katherine Heigl, and you would be, what's the other girl's name?
She was on Sara.
Yes. Oh,
she was on Doctors or funny show.
But and they end up like raising their families together,
which is
literally
what we're
so
doing,
us.
basically.
Yeah, because God, what is her name? What's her name? Sarah.
No, I can see her face.
Chalk.
Okay, there we go.
Sarah Chalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you.
So
would
I would
her.
be Sarah. Yeah.
Because she's like head on the ground.
I'm very
Yeah. Except I don't think that you're.
I'm so
a
floaty.
narcissist.
Oh no.
Katherine Heigl's a narcissist.
No, I needed to be reminded to think of myself.
Oh yeah, I know. What's the opposite of narcissism? That would be her.
Okay. Yeah.
But I am like
super humble.
Yes. Very but we like, for me, I like structure. I like order. Like I'm a little, like, for example, something that like really brings me joy is like organizing closets. And
yes, me
like
too.
I organize my son's toy section, and I've like, and I'm probably screwing up already because I'm like, Bubba, this is where, your animals go. This is where your Legos go.
How
and I made
old is he?
signs.
I'll tell you if you're screwing up.
He's 1.5.
You're screwing up.
I know.
Don't do that.
I know. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Well, he, okay.
He's going to be
when
a
Avery was 1 or so.
Is Avery your first? Who was your first?
He's my oldest and my favorite.
Okay.
So I have a boy and 2 girls.
Babies.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
The boy is always because
I just had my boy too. Well, 7 months ago, but yeah.
You what'd you say?
I had a boy too 7 months ago, but I had a girl, so I'm like so excited for that.
For the boy mom thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you already had a girl.
Yes.
And then you just had a boy. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The boy mom connection is so real. It's so real. And do you have just one?
I just have one right now.
Okay.
And it's truly, like, I told her, like, Chapel's only 7 months, so it's hard to, like, really see it, but like my son, and I feel bad because, like, for example, my son woke up from a nap right before I was leaving. And so my husband went in there and he's like, mama. I'm like, oh, baby, come here. And I like gave him. Oh my gosh, he would wreck. He would all this shit up so fast. Like everything would be broken. But
well,
I wouldn't have cared.
I went to my pediatrician because so I had a couple of things. Look, first of all, I wanted to start an organization called MAC, which is Mothers Against Crew Cuts, because I hate when little boys get crew cuts.
Oh
Do
my
you have
gosh.
crew cuts?
Like is it like the
bowl cut?
No, crew cut. Like zzz, where they shave it like the
oh
army.
my gosh, why would you do that to us?
Why would you do that?
No.
So
I'm joining.
What?
I'm into the. We're in the
organization.
Be a part of the organization.
You're joining. Okay,
yeah.
we're joining. So because I think it just makes them look not cute and sweet. Like, I grew Avery's hair out and I would put do-rags on him and dress him so cool. And like, he went everywhere. All 3 of my kids grew up on the road.
Yes.
Because I was not going to do the career unless I could take them.
Totally.
There was just no way.
Absolutely.
No way.
Yeah.
But, so he got into a phase where he was sticking his finger in the light socket. Okay. Gosh. And I would like slap his hand. So we go to the pediatrician for a checkup, and I told the pediatrician, I said, what about this? I have a question. You know, he won't listen. He's not getting it. And I'm afraid he's going to shock himself. And he said he doesn't get it. And he said, wait until they're like 3 before you really kind of do the spanking. Because I believe in spanking and, you know,
same.
discipline and all that. But they don't get it until then. And so I remember I would smack his hand and he would go like stare at his hand like, why did you do that? Why does my hand hurt? He didn't make the connection.
Yeah.
So my pediatrician said the best way to do that at that age is just to separate them. So put him in the playpen.
Oh yeah.
And then just say like, that will connect him. Like if I go over there, I'm going to put in the playpen.
See, I love that though.
Like I'm not going to let you hurt yourself. You don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to remove you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Just like I've heard, or even like our pediatrician, and even like what we try to like redirect as much as possible.
Redirect.
The only time my son will get like a little pop on the butt, and he has a diaper, it's not really a pop. It's more just to get his attention. If it's, we change our tone, and that gets him
That
most
does
of the time.
it.
Because we're pretty like chill family.
Yes.
And we don't really raise our voices. That was like really important to me.
Same.
Like with parenting. And if I change my tone, he's like, ugh. But the only time that he like really gets in trouble is if he's doing something really not safe and he laughs when we tell him like, where I'm like, Forrest, get down. And he doesn't listen and he's laughing in my face. And if it's like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, oh, your daddy gonna come over here and pop your little booty.
Yes.
And you gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
But,
and that's,
and it's pretty rare.
That's a daddy thing too. I think, you know, the kids are more like, oh, if it's daddy, getting onto them.
And my husband, it's funny because like her husband and I are wired very similarly, and my husband and her are wired very similarly.
Right.
Like personality, it's wild.
Yeah. Right.
But like my husband doesn't get flustered. He doesn't. He really has never raised his voice. Like he is just like cool, calm, collected. But like if in me too, like I'm a little more. I get stressed out easier, but like if I change my tone, if I'm like Forrest, and he's like, right,
oh, she's serious,
yeah, he's like, oh Lord, what's happening?
Well, I was totally kidding when I said you're doing it wrong.
No, I'm totally screwing up.
No,
1000%.
I think you know that now having had babies, and also they're all in their early 20s, and I feel like they need you almost more in the early 20s.
That's so good to hear.
I mean, we are so close. We're together all the time. But
and what a testament to like you as a mom. Like I think
that's what I hear when I hear
think it's rare sometimes for like adult children to be close to their parents, because just I mean you just never know like what the dynamic was growing up, or maybe there's just you know whatever. And so like when you know you have maintained a connected family, and you have a new relationship with your adult children. I think that's such a testament to what a great mom and parent you are, because your kids aren't going to come spend all that time with you and nurture that relationship.
They need to feel comfortable telling you everything
and feel safe,
everything,
and heard
and like
absolutely.
You know, you're not going to get mad if they screw up and or
your love doesn't change for them if they screw up, you know, those type of things.
Exactly. I mean, and you know, like when they walk in the room, always smile, always be a soft place to land, you know, like just, you guys get it.
They did say that. I read that somewhere. If you will light up when your kid walks in the room, watch them change. Like,
they sense,
completely, they are like, oh, I am valued. I am wanted. Like, I am loved here.
Yes.
That makes their personality,
you
know, reflects that. They're happy. They're content. They're peaceful.
Absolutely. That's my biggest piece of advice is as they grow, allow them to share everything with you and tell you everything.
Oh, like, even when it's hard.
Don't ever let them be like, I can't tell my mom this. I cannot tell my mom. She will die.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's nothing you could tell me.
That's going to change my love for you.
Right.
Or like,
and that's what I was going to say about God and parenting.
Yes. Oh my
It's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
Because he loves us unconditionally, and we're just sinful humans.
Yeah.
And afraid to come to him and be like, okay,
right.
So this is
You're
what happened,
still
even though
gonna
you're
love
knows,
me?
just
Right.
like mamas already know.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
so undeserving of this love. And he's like, but it's here for you to grab.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you do, because there's grace and mercy that I am ready to give. And
that is right. And if we're just sinful humans and we feel that way about our children, imagine how he feels about us. Like, he just loves us.
Oh my gosh,
so
there's
much.
motherhood. Like, I feel like both of us, just for many reasons, like kind of had to be tough cookies, like growing up and then being in the music business at 15. I mean,
thick skin.
And you too, like, you know, you have to have thick skin and like really be tough. And I think motherhood has softened me in a great way.
Yes.
Where, like, I am still very protective of my heart in certain situations. And like, I used to just like give all of myself to everybody, and now I've learned, like, you know, I have energy for this and I have energy for that, and this is my capacity. But like, just knowing, I don't know, like knowing my
boundaries.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like I love better because I have those in place now, you know?
My only other piece of advice too is never fight in front of your children.
Okay.
Ever.
Yes.
That's an important thing.
Yes.
Because I heard Dr. Phil say years ago, it changes who they are.
Absolutely.
It changes who they are.
You're their safe people. And when you're arguing, you're not a unit. And that completely destroys their world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I won't touch on it too much, but that I grew up in a probably more like a yelly, you know, that type of environment. There was, you know, love both of my parents dearly, but it just wasn't, it's not what I want for my child.
Right.
And I think the blessing of that is that I'm learning, you know, like even if we do get heated about something, like we'll be like, let's table this. And he's going to go to bed in about 3 hours. We're going to be cooled off anyways.
Yeah, by then you don't even want to talk.
It's like, wait, what were we mad about?
Dumb.
I know.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, I know. Or like if he's napping and stuff. But most of the time, my husband and I have been together since we were 15. Like, we've been a duo as long as I've been with my husband.
That's
and
so cool.
I think it's like maybe, I don't know if it's time or like growing up together, but like our fights just aren't as, like, I used to be the meanest fighter. Like, I would say the meanest shit I could think of.
We've all been toxic.
Yeah. I was so toxic in the, you know, and I think it's like you just do what you know.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and so I was just, and he was just like, who is this person? And it wasn't me. It was just like, if I felt defensive or anything, like I just would react so poorly.
Right.
And now I have just like learned, I have the tools and the years and the communication to be like, I'm really heated about this, and I need to go inward real quick and figure out like, what is it that's like triggering, or like, what is it?
Right.
Why am I so upset about this? And then deliver it to you so it doesn't come out in anger.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. What do y'all think about therapy as far as, so I saw a thing on Instagram the other day that said, therapy's good. I go to therapy, and my husband and I go to therapy.
Yeah.
But I do believe sometimes, now that I have adult children, some therapists, I think you have to be careful because they want you to find things that maybe they can blame their mom for.
Yeah.
Or blame, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just
you
like,
have to be careful with, we both have had good therapy experiences and not great therapy experiences.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I've been in therapy, I think, for about 8 years, like on and off. And my first therapist that I had was kind of that way, and it just we weren't aligned. And I'm also like, you have to pull things out of me.
We are each other's therapists at this point.
You know, book, and I would sit there, and she'd just be like, "So how are you?" And I'm like, "No, I need you to ask specific questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to want to
like
pour
earn
my
your
soul
damn
out
money, girl.
Right.
yeah, exactly. But I love therapy. I love therapy. I think like therapy is one of the huge reasons that I feel like I was able to continue to with my career after having my daughter Layton. She was 3 months prematurely, and I was in the hospital with her for a month. And that was the most traumatizing time of my life.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I went into therapy immediately, and I joined a mom's group, which I would have never done years ago. And just like talking it out, my therapist would say, sharing your shame splits it in half. And it's so true. And every time I would speak it, my burden left. And so I love therapy. I'm such an advocate.
I love therapy too.
But I think too much of a good
I don't want my kids to get a therapy and have their therapist say everything, like, because we have such a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard.
Yeah.
I don't want her bringing things up that might go, yeah, that was weird in my opinion. I don't know.
See, I feel that. Yeah.
But also, I think it sounds to me like you and your kids have that, you know, conversations and relationship that if something came up, they would be like, hey, Mom, what was this about? And you would be like, actually, I probably could have done that better. Or like, because you have a humble heart. You're like, you are on fire for the Lord. And I think that he convicts us to be like, you know what? I probably could have. And, you know, it's like nobody gets it perfect. Like I truly feel like no matter what the relationship is between like parent and child, it's like at the end of the day, I think most parents are trying to do the best they can.
That's right.
And it's, you know, sometimes that doesn't align, you know, but like, you know, I know at the end of the day, I'm like, I am doing my best. So if something comes up later on, I'm be like, actually, babe, I think you're right. Like I probably could have done that better. And you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I think just that alone, I mean, that would be earth shattering for me, you know, to hear. So it's like, I think that's like that transparency and that authentic relationship. I feel like ain't no therapist gonna jack that up for you and your kids. Y'all are rock solid.
Your kids, I feel like you have such a strong sense of self. Like sometimes when I was in therapy and she would try to steer me in a way, I'd be like, oh no, I don't feel that. Like, and I feel like your kids would be the same. Like, that's not a story that I'm telling myself.
Yeah. Right. You know? Yeah. I think that's true. I think you're right about that. Okay. So who is your husband in, as far as producer, all that? How did y'all meet?
My husband, his name's Josh Kerr, and we actually met on a radio tour, like 12 years ago. He was out playing guitar for Kelsey Ballerini, and we were on radio tour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we met backstage.
Do I know him? I know his name.
I'm sure. Maybe. There is a Josh Kerr in town.
I know. I have heard the name Josh Kerr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's all over. Like,
he writes songs and produces. And A&R. He's kind of just.
So he's famous.
Come
on, say it.
He makes his own records too.
He is very talented.
Okay.
Is he cute?
I am in awe of him. Oh my God, so sexy. Then blue eyes. We have 2 babies, and
y'all got
but
caught
I
off.
love your brown eyes.
Oh
thank you so much.
I know.
My daughter got my eyes, and then my son got Josh's eyes.
Okay.
But we met, and then we were both in different relationships at the time, and it was just like, hey, I'm Josh, hey, I'm Tae, nice to meet you, whatever. And then the invisible string theory pulled us back together, years and years later. 2018, we wrote a song together for the first time, and that was the first time that I ever had a conversation with him. And I was freshly out of the Die From a Broken Heart relationship.
Okay.
So 3 years of hell. Yep. And then I meet Josh, and I was like, he's so cute. I'd love to like just make out with him. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
And then we started making out, and then we fell in love.
I know. She
love
kept
it.
being like, I don't know. And I'm like, T, this is like, you know, and then what did Josh, because he's like so romantic and
so
sweet.
Smooth.
She was like, oh my gosh, Maddie, you would not believe what he said. And I was like, what? And he was like, I can't just like, you know, make out with you because you're the kind of girl that I would marry. And she's like, he's so full of shit, you know? And I'm like, I think
he's a poet.
Money where your mouth is.
Yeah, exactly. And he did. And he called it. Yeah, he is a very...
And how long have you been married?
We've been married since 2020. We got married a month before the world shut down.
Okay, and you have 2 kids.
2 kids.
In 5 years.
Yes, girl.
Or a little over 5 years. And how long have you been married?
We have been married for... coming up on 6.
Okay.
And then together for 15, and then 1 kiddo. So we're a little more, but you know, we were babies when my husband and I started dating. So we were like, we want to go like travel and do stuff.
You want to grow up a little bit together.
Yeah. And not that, I mean, we still travel all over with the babies, but you know,
right.
just like have that time to just like, you know, we would have gotten married at 18 but we were just like, you know, it wouldn't be like, you know, practical or whatever, but so it's funny thinking back because I'm like, oh, we treated it like a marriage, like from day one.
I love it. It's you know, rare to find those relationships that start as teenagers and they last.
It is. Oh yeah. I don't know what God was like, I'm gonna give you 2 of your soulmates in 2010. Yeah. Boom. There you go.
That's amazing.
I know.
What are y'all doing now? Like, tell me what's going on in your career and what do you think of everything?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I have so many thoughts. So we just released our 4th album, which was quite the feat. Every album, I always say, like, birthing an album is harder than birthing a child.
You know.
Like,
it can be, you know, because it takes way longer. There's way too many cooks in the kitchen.
And y'all are trying to write every song.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we listen to outside songs a lot. It's just, it's hard. Because we're a duo and the perspective we write, sometimes it's easier for us to write it. But we've cut like 2 outside songs in our career, but we love listening. Like the writing community is like our, you know, that's like our safe space, you know, that we love.
And it can be very inspirational too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But we definitely listen to outside songs. It's just sometimes like maybe they fit, maybe they don't, but we just put out that record and now we're
what's it called again? I'm sorry.
It's called Love and Light.
Love and Light.
Love and Light. Okay. Yeah, but it's kind of like the song Love and Light is a sassy twist. You know, when people are like, "Oh, sending love and light." Right. But it's kind of like a middle finger, like there's a sassy
you don't
twist.
Really mean it.
Yeah. It's like I ain't thinking about you. Yeah. It's very us and sassy.
I love it.
But 4th album, touring some this year, and then we are literally going to start writing for the next record like at the end of this month. So just like full steam ahead, but we both have been like really trying to find the balance between family and work. And I think like last year was a little too heavy on the work, and this year we're a little more family. And so now we're like really trying to hone in on what that balance looks like.
It is the hardest thing to figure out.
But especially in this economy.
Oh my gosh.
You got to make money, but everyth's just way more expensive.
Touring, you have to pay to tour. Like it's like the Love and Light tour that we just did. We lost money on that tour, but it was.
But you got to
promote the record, absolutely. And we like love performing so much, and the fact that it is fans, so expensive, it's just like
Well, like I went down to one bus because fuel prices got so expensive.
Even finding a bus lease.
Yeah.
What?
Even a bus lease.
And the bus leases after COVID, everything was just like
jacked up. Yeah.
I was in shock. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try a year, back on the bus with my band. Cause that's what I did in the beginning.
Yeah.
I love my band and crew. And, so we did it for a year, and then I was like, well, let's just price out this year taking a second bus. And it was going to be an added $500,000.
Yeah, girl. Woo! Yes.
$500,000. I'm just like, why wouldn't I? Why would I spend that?
Take that home.
Go
to Cabo.
Or I would go in the hole.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like...
It's
very hard. And then if you are trying to do it and you have kids, and then you can't go out in the Mercedes van with the kid. Like, there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah. The way that we do it right now is we are flying like in and out, and like we have a 3-day
not to be
rule.
Gone as much as possible.
Yeah, right.
Our 3-day rule, which
I had that rule too.
3-day rule.
It's a good one.
Because I will start bawling. Both of us will start melting down. No one's gonna want to be around us anyways, so we need to be back.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-day rule unless there's like a crazy, wild, amazing opportunity that makes whatever. But that typically doesn't happen. But 3-day rule, and then like for example, we're going to New York next Monday, and then we're home Tuesday night. So it's like our babies, it's one sleep. We go off of sleeps too, or we're like, I'll see you in 2 sleeps.
Yeah.
I'll see you in 1 sleep.
Yes. And it definitely makes it easier.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're going to need to have another one.
Oh yeah.
To
balance it out.
Well, so that they can, be there for each other.
I know.
Because this is what I learned from my kids. It bothered me So I try to have the 3-day rule too, except for the radio tour.
Oh yeah, God.
I can't imagine radio tour.
There's no radio tour anymore. I'm like, all these like new artists that are incredible, they don't radio tour. There's no radio tour anymore because.
So how do they get their songs on mainstream country
TikTok.
radio?
It's like, it's just so different. Like there's
like, how do they?
Like, radio tour, it's like 3 shows viral. A day, maybe 2 cities in one day for like 6 months. Like
that's right.
The craziness of that.
Yes.
That doesn't happen anymore. And I'm so glad for these new artists because I'm like, y'all aren't going to burn out like the rest of us did 5 billion times.
Right.
Losing our voices, being sick. Like I was freaking hospitalized. Like just crazy health issues because they work you like a damn workhorse.
Well, and then you're doing like... You're trying to be fit, you're trying to save your voice, and you've got to go to lunch with this station, and then you go to another one, and you got to go to dinner, and you got to...
Oh my gosh.
It's so hard. But like in the Born to Fly days, back then when it was all the labels, like they flew me on a private jet all over America. So we could stop in 3 or 4 cities and visit, and then... slowly that changed, and then
now they're like, here's a Southwest flight from Miami
or a rental car,
or a rental car.
Like I remember we had a little bit stronger. And then we released an album called Slow Me Down.
I love that song and that album.
Thank you. Well, and I was like, God, it's getting really difficult,
stupid
to get my songs played, where it used to be like kind of an automatic ad or whatever. They never really made it easy for me, but it wasn't.
But you had that relationship already,
you had nurtured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now people don't even know that I'm still putting out new music because it's not on mainstream country radio. So it's very frustrating because I'm like, how?
Oh, yeah. We haven't had a single in 5 years on the radio. And I will tell you, the thing that has changed our business and our heart and everything is like, we just stopped putting all of our eggs in the radio basket. Not that, like, we are grateful for Girl in a Country Song and Die From a Broken Heart and the fact that they, played those songs. But Die From a Broken Heart went gold when it was not even in the top 40. So they were kind of forced to play that song because our fans were freaking crushing streaming. So it's really all fan driven, for us. And I think like for a long time we were like, we have to have a radio single. In this day and age, you don't have to have a radio single to be it's helpful. But
there's no money in it.
If you don't have
a radio single
is how you make
the only way
is how you make money.
Exactly.
And then touring, and then you've got the hit record. Like I just kind of rack my brain all the time thinking, how can the system change? Like, it needs to change.
That's the constant conversation we have. I mean,
all the time.
Daily.
Because the artist doesn't make money.
Yeah, it's literally, I would say, like, it's like Bug's Life. Like, where the ants, us and the songwriters are the ants. The ants get the food. The grasshoppers come eat the food. And then the ants are hungry, and it's not that dramatic. Like, we have so many people at our label that we love and that work so hard for us. But just the structure. And I think even, like, the labels are frustrated with how things are operating because they're not able to do a couple, different things, especially if it's like very corporate and there's a lot of red tape you have to go through with TikTok and blah, 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 blah. Like our label had a, Mexican standoff with TikTok. And so we couldn't promote our music when we're trying to put out a new album. We're like, but in the long run, they're thinking, hey, we're trying to, make this better for our artists. But at the time it was, frustrating, but
totally.
It's just structured. It's not how it used to be. And
I mean, you can have hundreds of thousands of spins and make 45 cents. Like, so the system has to change. It has to.
And I just always wonder, like, who's gonna
I think
hold the torch on that. Like, how is that gonna happen?
I don't know. I mean, my thing is like, should there be, and I'm all for like very small government, but should there be something where we're represented? Instead of just because these songs and this music come from our souls, our brains, our hearts.
And that's what drives,
out of thin air.
That's what pays for a record label. That's what pays for the, incredible streaming team, the incredible publicity team, the incredible, like all these incredible people that make the label go around. It's because of the music, but the music gets like not prioritized now. It's like, hey, what 30 seconds of your song is going to go viral on TikTok? Boom. And, and you know, it's not the label's fault. It's just literally how the structure is now. And I'm like, guys, I missed listening to a whole album. Like, why did we not do that anymore? When an album comes out, I listen top down because I'm like, it was intended. You're a music lover. Yeah, exactly. And I do love, and I'm sure your fans are this way too, but our fans, they digest the album top to bottom. It's almost like we've trained them how to like, you know, because we're like, there's all these nuggets and little things that you will catch if you listen the way it was intended, and they love it and we love it. And so it just builds this beautiful relationship with our fans, but there's just way more intention from a whole project rather than just like a couple songs here and there, you know?
Right. And then from somebody who may have never been on stage before. Yeah. And then they're thrown out there.
It's backwards.
Oh my gosh.
It's all backwards.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I think we need to have a bottle. I was going to say a glass of wine, but we need to have a bottle of wine.
I know.
Just like several bottles of wine.
Yes. I feel like
because
your wisdom and advice today, and just like who you have been to us since we want it truly, it's just like so impactful, and like getting to sit here and have a conversation with you is so awesome.
You're like
so life-giving,
and you're so young, but you're one of our heroes.
Yes.
You know, and I know it has to be like weird hearing that, you know, from other like artists and stuff, but you truly are like you have paved such a way in country music for women, and like
especially as moms, it's just so nice to hear you sit there and say, I will choose my family, I will choose this. And it's just like, yes, we feel so validated.
Because that's not the norm. Yeah. That's not the, like, not everyone is excited about you picking your family over, you know, your career. Yeah. But it's like so refreshing. And I think that's where that balance comes in. I think that's also why you've sustained such a successful, big, giant career, because you have like, you are like this magician that can balance it all. And so we're just like sponges over here soaking it up.
You've given me life. I'm like, we can do this.
You can do it. But I do agree the system has to change. And, you know, I don't know the answers, but it is the fans. I mean, the fans, you know, and I always say this to my female fans, buy the girls, you know, support the women, support the women. Yeah. Because I know that you think, you know, Morgan's cute, and he is. Yeah. And, you know, all these guys, you know, and cause you know what it's like. You go to, an in the round, like
the radio show thing,
and you're sitting there. And I remember sitting there going, I have 15 top 10 records. Yeah. And I'm sitting here with these brand new male artists, and the women are freaking out over them. Oh yeah. And I'm just like, make it about the music. Make it about the music.
Yeah. And like, if the songs are good, then totally freak out. But there's been times where we're in the round and we're playing Girl in a Country Song, and then an artist plays a song that we're like poking fun at, and everyone's losing their mind. I'm like, I'm so glad you enjoy it, but it's not very good.
Yeah. I think the women, and like I always say this, where would we be without Patsy Cline and Dolly Parton and Reba and, you know, without their Loretta Lynn, like without their music and those songs, and it just, you know, has to get back to that. So but then that's where you have to go back to trusting the Lord. Yeah. And remembering God is always providing and protecting. Always. So if it's meant to be, if that's, then it will be.
Yeah. Absolutely. As I say, as long as the doors are opening, I'm walking through. So that's how I know I need to take a step.
That's right.
Yeah. And
that's
in this business, I think like, you know, idolatry can kind of get like, we talked about this with Tracy Lawrence on his podcast, and how like sometimes like all that, you know, like praise and stuff can get to people's heads. And I think like God, I just love the way that he has navigated our spirit like through this, where it's like, that's not exactly what like fills our bucket, but like the business we're in is not necessarily like gonna be like, ooh, yay, God, you know, like there's, you know, in country, it's a lot more comfortable to talk about your faith. Totally. But like the entertainment business is not necessarily a like faith friendly business, I would say. Yeah. And so it definitely like,
I think a lot more people, you know, probably are. They're just a little more afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, and there's no question you have to work your ass off.
Yeah.
You have to work your ass off. I mean, you can't, but I'm just saying, even working your ass off in this day and age, isn't doing it.
Oh no.
So,
yeah, you can outwork all of the boys like
Yes.
17 and that's why I'm so stoked for like Lainey Wilson,
Yes.
she runs laps around all those boys, and I'm like,
Yes.
finally one of the girls that's like worked her ass off,
Right.
you know, like all of us is finally getting.
So why is country radio playing her? Or are they?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
they
they
definitely
are.
are. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure every
So-
song of hers goes number one. As it
Okay,
should.
so how does
Yeah.
that happen? Like, because I don't
don't
listen to
know.
music. I listen to podcasts. I just
zone out. Yeah.
I don't listen to music, and I don't know anything about like top 40 or top 50 right now.
I don't
know
either.
the charts either, but I
haven't
just
looked
know Lainey's crushing,
Yeah.
and she's.
So how?
You know what? I don't know. I know the music is
and work
great.
ethic.
The music's
she doesn't
great.
stop.
The music's great.
But-
she doesn't stop.
But how? Like, I keep saying, but how? But how? She works her ass off, but so does everybody
I feel
else.
like she's
great.
She
but so are-
represents. I feel like to a lot of fans, she represents like females in country music. To me,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I've, and I think she does
Do
a
you
great
think
job
it
at
has
that.
something to do with her being on Yellowstone? Because I think
Probably.
Maybe that could
sometimes
help.
little things like that help. Like if you
Yes,
or if you start
momentum.
dating another country artist,
Yes.
Oh,
then
yeah.
that can do it.
Like,
you know.
yeah.
So I want to know what's
Like the magic
who
recipe.
yeah, what's the recipe to get?
Yeah.
Especially if they're not doing radio tours anymore.
I mean,
Oh,
I
the
know.
recipe.
honestly, those videos of her butt. I'm not kidding. That is how she went viral.
Yeah.
And she knows it too. She
Yeah.
got
But
the
you
Theo
know-
Vaughn podcast talking about it. She said it herself. She's like, I went viral after those butt videos.
Yeah.
Wait, what videos? I'm lost.
She has an incredible
a nice
ass.
butt.
And it went
Yeah, she's
viral.
gorgeous.
It went
Yeah,
viral.
but I will say this: I think that like Lainey is one of those like anomalies where it's like,
Yes.
the work ethic's there, the music is
Just
there,
a superstar.
the stars aligned, her stage presence, and the team she has behind her,
heart.
obviously
Her
is.
heart.
Yeah, and
In
so
her heart, yeah.
I think it's like the anomaly, like where it's just like, and she's like a dear friend of ours, and there's times where she's like, I don't know why it's me, but I'm so like I have worked my ass off, and this is all I've wanted my whole life, like everyone
Yeah.
else in this town, and she's like,
Right.
and I'm gonna freaking,
Yeah.
do the best I can, and so
and she's authentic and
Yes.
she truly is great, but and I was
like-
I handed her the female vocalist
Yes.
ACMs the
Oh
other day,
my
and I was
gosh,
so
yeah.
happy it was her. But at the same time, I mean, like Casey Musgraves is incredible.
Yeah.
They don't play her on country
I know,
radio.
why does
I know.
she get snubbed?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I need to know the formula.
I know. I don't know the
It's
formula.
like, it seems like if there's buzz or like, buzz.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or butt.
Because-
Or
yeah,
butt.
butts or buzz.
Butts or
no.
buzz
And
or
I'm
buzz
like,
butt. Butt
But
buzz.
we've been told that like we're too boring. That's why country radio doesn't want to play us.
Yeah,
play us
really?
because
Yeah.
like
we just don't
I
have
don't
enough
find you boring at
scandal.
all.
there's no there's no
Like we don't
scandals.
cheat on our husbands.
Right.
We're just like normal gals that
Yeah.
have kids and like don't like that was the feedback, like not the team that we have now, but like years
Like
ago.
they asked a specific radio guy and he was like, they're just boring.
We
Yeah.
don't want to play them because there's just no like they're not dating a country star. They're not, and they're just boring. There's no, and then they don't fight, so that's boring.
Right,
And we're
right,
like,
right.
well, you, sorry, but we're not gonna do it. We're gonna be us.
Sorry, I'm so
But it's
Yeah.
not about that. It's about the music.
I know.
You know?
That's what's
And-
so wild.
Yeah. And y'all are great. So it's like, yeah.
I know. That
Yeah.
comment, that one
We're all
still
just
irks
stunned
me.
now. We're all just like,
I know.
No,
and
that's
then
the one
we
that
immediately
got
were
me.
like, okay, how can we not be boring? Like, should we just like have a dress malfunction on stage?
Yeah,
Or,
like have a
yeah.
nip slip. I don't know. Like
OnlyFans? What do we do?
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't
What do we do?
know.
Yeah,
I
but then that
mean-
again, it's like that
you
that
gotta be
comment.
authentic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know, and that's what we do. And I'm like, if our authenticity is boring to that one person in wherever, I don't even remember, what station they were programming or even if they're in radio anymore. But I'm like, I try not to like let that soak in. But that one really bothered me because I was like, again, it's not about the music. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're
Who cares
like,
if we're boring?
yeah, and it's like,
And also, they don't know, like the most famous person in music right now could be so boring.
Oh yeah.
They don't know.
No, absolutely. And
Everybody's
I'm
putting
like,
on an act.
if we ever like did a tell-all and told everything about our lives and how
shoot.
up some stuff is,
Right.
like, it wouldn't be boring, but there is that, like, you know, where we want to protect ourselves. Like, not the whole world doesn't need to know all of the.
We're not going to air our dirty laundry just to get a clickbait, just to have a song on the radio.
Yeah, because
Right.
it just like doesn't.
Well, think about
make-
the Eagles. I mean, I've watched the Eagles documentary like 10 times, and
it's so good.
I don't see any like major drama with them.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's
they were all
men.
Exactly.
buddies.
It's that good old double standard.
But you know, it's always been that way. I remember
I was going to ask you that. That's my question I had
Yes.
for you. Was it always uneven?
it's always been that way. Like somebody would come onto the scene, and for whatever reason, they would just pop, and so for me, it was Gretchen Wilson. I
Okay.
was so mad at her. I hated her, and for no reason. I didn't even know her.
Yeah.
But I'm so competitive.
Yeah.
And the other night, we had the best time at the ACMs because, you know, it's like that's
Water
all
under the
water under the bridge. And
Yes. And y'all are
she's
so different.
funny.
Y'all, it's it's apples and oranges. Like, you can't even compare. But
Yeah.
for the women, it feels like there's only a couple, you know, like, for example, even this new duo that's come out, Tiger Lily Gold.
Right.
They're a female sister duo.
They're great.
They're
And
great.
they are dear friends of ours because we were like, there was already like articles like, oh, Maddie and Tae song versus Tiger Lily Gold. And I'm like,
No.
y'all quit that.
Absolutely.
We're not
Right.
doing that. And I'm just like, if they're winning, we're winning.
Yeah.
If,
Right.
Like, everyone, like, if all the women are getting a shot and like their art is getting heard, I'm so happy. Like, I'm
Yes.
stoked for that.
Not to take away at all from Lainey's talent, but I do think being on Yellowstone helped
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything was becoming popular at the same
Totally.
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got
So-
it going on.
I know.
She's got it going on.
I love it.
Yeah, I love her style. I just, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just always been that way where you're like, you know, I came out the same time as Leanne Womack, and country radio played her single over mine. My first one was 3 Chords and the Truth, and just pissed me off, you
Yes.
know. And it had nothing to do with her,
Yeah.
whatsoever. It
It's
was
just the business made you feel
Yes.
like
competitive.
It's exactly. Yeah. And I'm hopefully that's all getting all busted up now. 'Cause,
Yes.
you know, just with a lot of the newer, I don't know a lot of the new, like Ella Langley and Megan, like I don't know them well.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And I don't really know like where they stand on everything, but I do feel like there's more women coming up having bigger moments.
I agree.
And I freaking love to see it. I'm like,
Yeah.
whether you're a baby or whether you're a Lainey that's been here, you know, 12 years, like whatever your story is, if the music is incredible, like go kick ass and like make all of us proud. Like,
That's right.
You know, like I want to create that, like,
Yeah, because the more women, you know,
to even it
succeed, the
out.
more women succeed.
yeah.
You
And
know.
women are the ones that are truly like listening. You know, I think men and women obviously listen to country, but like the women, like we are the ones that are listening to those like bawl your eyes out songs, you know?
That's
And it's
right.
like, so why, like, let's cater to our girls, you
That's
know?
right.
Like,
That's
it
right.
makes sense.
Well, I wish you both all the best in the world.
Thank you.
And is there anything else you want to talk about or promote or say?
Oh my
or
gosh, no,
anything?
this was a dream. Like,
It's the
Such a
hour
cool
flies by.
conversation. It really
I
does.
know.
It really, really
I
does.
could do this again.
I know we need to go
know.
like
Without
Joe Rogan
cameras, because I
and
feel like we could just go.
do 4
I would
hours
love
next
to.
time.
I would love to.
Without
Anytime.
names and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I
Yes.
know. I love it.
Yeah, and you better let me know when you have your next baby.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
yeah. I'm hoping
Yeah.
like sometime like next year. I don't know. We're talking about it, but I want like 100.
Pregnancy sucks.
See, I was so
love
lucky.
being
My first trimester was rough, like sickness, but I loved being pregnant. I was one of the weirdos.
Now,
That
my body did not like being pregnant, but I loved
Your
it.
body didn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
yours
Yeah.
didn't.
No, I was nauseous the whole time. I was just like, why, God? Like,
Yeah, like this is
the whole
horrible.
time, like
The whole
full
time.
Did they
the
put you
whole
on
time.
Zofran?
And you
'Cause
toured?
That
Yeah.
was the hack.
And I
How far
toured.
did you tour to?
I toured till 8 months.
Yeah.
Same.
And then when the baby was about 6 weeks, I was right back out on the road because I was
Oh, God.
always also so worried about losing momentum.
Yeah.
And
I mean that. Yeah.
You can't do
That's-
that.
that's-
I mean, it
that's
paid
what
off.
happens.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
know?
Loretta Lynn says in Coal Miner's Daughter, if you if you slow down, they forget about you.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so that's just the choice you make. But
Yeah.
But they got to go out with you.
They did.
That's good.
Okay,
See, ours,
yeah.
we would have to leave ours if we left that.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that
y'all
can't
can
happen.
forget
Yeah.
about me for a couple months.
At least for now.
At least for now.
Yeah. We'll pray that God
Yes.
will provide
Thank you.
all
Oh,
that
thanks.
for
he always
you.
does, no
Yeah.
matter
Thank
what.
you.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
And
this
he
was
will.
such a
He will.
dream.
Thank
I'm,
you
like,
so
cringing
much.
myself.
Honestly, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
This
you.
was great.
Oh my
can't wait.
gosh.